Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another live stream on a Thursday evening from beautiful state of Colorado in the USA. Welcome all Augies around the world, wherever you may be. I see from the conversation that we have a number in from overseas, and welcome to everybody. Okay, what we do here is we're going to just chat. We've got questions coming in or comments coming in. We'll run through those. If you have a question, after all, this is the Ask Dave channel, right? Just ask it, and I'll see if I can answer it. Sometimes it might be so intriguing I'll make a whole video about it. Other times I'll just try and give you an answer. I just finished writing today my Ask Dave column for QST for June. That's how far ahead everything has to be. So that's done. I'm running a little behind on making the videos for the ARRL. I've done January and February. I need to do March and April, and it won't be long before May's QST will come out. Comes out first digitally to everybody, and I know as good Augies you are all members of the ARRL, right? I really do think it is the best thing to do. I know it's expensive, but if you compare it to when gas prices were a little higher earlier this year, I have a picture of the gas pump after I filled my Jeep, and it costs more than 1 year membership to the league. So go ahead and sign up. I signed up. I'm going to put it for the paper QST. Now, when you sign up, you can get all 4 of the league's magazines online, and sometimes it's easiest to read that way. I open the reader on my iPad, take it to bed with me, a little good time reading, or a little good night reading, but sometimes I just like a paper copy. So I pay the extra for the paper copy of QST. Okay, now let's see what we've got here. We've had our first chat already. Von Ziegel has added $10 to the chat revenue. Thank you very, very much. This is a major source of channel funds for the account, and I really appreciate it. I would like you to look behind me. This is Tegan. Tegan is 16 years old. He is a sophomore at Montrose High School, and he will be stepping in for Aiden, who will soon be stepping out. Aiden is going on his Mormon mission to, of all places, Japan, which has a lot of hams over there, by the way. They have 2 licenses. They have the entry-level license, and I think more than 1 million Japanese have the entry-level license. They're limited to 20 watts. It's a lot harder to get the general level or whatever. Most countries have 2 tiers. The U.S. is weird having 3. So he'll be over there for 2 years. And then he'll come back here and do his college and go off and marry someone and have a family and all that sort of thing. And we will wish him the best of luck at the right time. We will lose him right about the end of June, I think. Okay, in the meantime, we're going to be making the transition over to Tegan. And he is quite an interesting young man. He is a musician, to be sure. He plays trombone, tuba. What else do you play?
And contra. It's marching tuba.
Contra tuba. Oh, that's the one facing forward, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And he's in the jazz band. He is in the marching band. Are you in the orchestra?
We don't have an orchestra.
You don't have an orchestra. Shame on you. I've heard some absolutely awful music from high school orchestras. So, so this is Tegan. Okay. Let's go back up to the top and go through the comments here. Leo Gustafson says, good afternoon, Dave and all Augies. Leo KK7CLY. Checking in from Albany, Oregon, where it's 49 degrees and a little windy, and 81% relative humidity. Let's see, it is 51 degrees here, 30% relative humidity. 21, the dew point is 21 degrees, so a big wide spread. So it'll be clear probably tomorrow. We had quite a snowstorm this week, 6 to 8 inches, that was gone in like 4 hours. Most of it was gone. We still have some snow out there, and it's making the ground pretty wet, so it's hard to get out and fiddle with the antennas. Okay, Leo says, I found that while Chris at Buddy Pole has been doing his best to help me with the hex beam, I'm lacking the tools and talent for disassembly of the spreaders. So I'm trying vinyl tubing to rejoin the sections. Finding my long reach grabber is my next task so I can pull the shock cord through the tubing. Well, good luck to you. I was working with Aiden and a couple other people on my MFJ hex beam, which is just now hitting the 5-year mark. And we found that the UV up here at 7,000 feet is much stronger than UV down at sea level. And it had caused some issues with some of the plastic components. The fiberglass spreaders, the coating over the top of them has gone away because of the UV. And so if you touch it, you get 15 million glass fibers in your fingers, and that can be a royal pain. So that's coming apart. I've had a wire come off of it. We tried tilting the thing over and working on it, and we had issues. So I'm either going to have to get a lift truck in here or really actually take it down so I can rebuild it. I mean, it's a great antenna, but I think it should last a little longer than 5 years. Okay, Jeff Kahn. Oh, I sent an email, not an email, I sent a comment to you, Leo, about shrink wrap tubing. The shrink wrap, I've got some 1 inch wide, so it's actually 2 inches around, 1 inch wide, and you use a heat gun with it, and it just comes in like that, and it'll hold things together very nicely. I have some. If you need it, let me know. I'll mail you some. Okay, Jeff Kahn. Good evening from the East Coast. Jeff Kahn 1K3DHJ. Checking in from Newark, Delaware, home of the University of Delaware's Fighting Blue Hens. Okay. Does that mean all your sports teams are female? I know Delaware's a blue state. Hens. Not fighting cocks or something like that? Explain that. Jeff McFarland says, hello, Dave, from KD9ZSL. Davis, K3DHJ, switching to the ham account. Leo, I sure am missing making contacts now that the rest of my system is working. I don't blame you. Leo, go put up a dipole and get back on the air. You can put up a dipole really easily. I've got a couple of videos on homebrewing dipoles. All you need is a little wire from Home Depot and a couple insulators from your local farm store, Murdoch's or Tractor Depot or something like that. You get electric fence insulators. Okay, and just connect the coax directly to the dipole. Get one for 40 meters because that'll also work for 15. Or if you have the reference antenna, put that back up and you'll be in good shape. Okay, let's see. And Terrence, greetings from London. 9 degrees centigrade and plenty of rain. Well, rain seems to be falling in strange places. California's getting drenched, or at least parts of it are. They call them atmospheric rivers as though everybody knows what that means. It means sort of a thin stream of clouds heading in with the clouds very rainy. And then what happens is interesting. The wind continues on. All the rain is dumped in the Sierra Nevada. The wind continues across Nevada, because there's nothing in Nevada, and comes through Utah, and it goes over Colorado, and if there's any rain left, we'll get a little bit of snow. and then it goes down into the Great Plains. Well, what happens is that pulls moist air up from the Gulf of California or the Gulf of Mexico. And you mix that really humid air with the fast air that's moving along, and it creates chaos on the East Coast. Tornadoes, heavy rain, all of that. So that's kind of skipping us over the top here. Let's see. Davis, 50 degrees and cloudy here in northern Delaware. Newark is 1 hour's drive south of Philadelphia, 1 hour north of northern Baltimore. If you're in southern Baltimore, I think you might have a little bit longer to get there, thanks to the bridge being out. That is just, what, a 50, 60-year-old bridge would keep serving for a long time if some stupid ship didn't run into one of the piers. Now, back when those ships, or when that bridge was built, ships were nowhere near as big. And, it's just like the World Trade Center. The World Trade Center was designed for a 707 to hit it. Well, in the many years since the World Trade Center has been up, they built bigger airplanes, as we found out. Okay, well, they built bigger ships. So now I lived in Florida when that big bridge was hit by an errant ship, and it knocked that bridge down. Now, I had been over that bridge, and it seemed to me the flimsiest thing I'd ever seen. But anyway, ship hit it, took it down, took a Greyhound bus with it. And there was somebody trying to stop traffic from going over it, and they just kept driving around him to their death. Finally got enough people to stop that all those people weren't flying off into the water. When they rebuilt that, they actually built kind of islands around the key piers where the abutments went up, and kind of made the problem a little bit better, but that was a real sad situation in Baltimore. Now you get two principles kind of hitting each other here. One, get that bridge debris the heck out of the way so you can get ships in and out of the harbor. And the other thing that's going on is don't touch anything so all the analysts can come in and figure out what really went wrong. Was it really because the ship hit it, or was it because there was a design flaw in the bridge, or something had cracked, or who knows? But, those two things they need to do are contrary to each other, and I think what they're going to end up doing is taking at least 15 million pictures and then clearing the debris out of that channel. How would you clear that debris? Well, you get about 16 Navy ships, each with a tow cable, backing up and pulling that thing off to the side. It's huge. And I feel so bad for the people who died in that. That was just very sad. Being an engineer, and by the way, Keegan is of an engineering bent, which makes him a very good man. So he could lead Boeing a lot better than the guy leading Boeing right now. In my humble opinion, and you all know how humble opinions are, an engineering company like Boeing should be led by an engineer, because otherwise top management will have no real clue what's happening. Okay. Anyway, that's my opinion. Okay, London calling, let's see. Bill Meyer, KE0OG. Hello, David Nologi from Wisconsin, where it's 32F. We had a sunny, cloud-free day today. Okay. Jeff McFarland says 41 temp in Silver Lake, Wisconsin. Leo, I tried using 3/8 fuel line, but it was just very unwieldy. Heating the vinyl just might do the job. Well, I can send you some of this. I've got a whole roll of it I picked up for like $1 at a ham fest. It's 1-inch shrink wrap tubing. Put it over both of them with something, and it will shrink right down and just hold that. Now, if the brake is in the middle, you'll have to put something in there to reinforce it, okay? Because otherwise the thing will just bend right where the brake is. Leo says, hi, Dave. Terrence, oops. This thing jumps around on me. I have some 3M ink shrink tubing, the kind with adhesive in its center. That's nice stuff. Yeah, I used some of that when I was putting the Step IR antenna together. Okay. Terrence says, hi, Dave. Hope you are keeping well. I am, actually. I felt better than I have in quite a while. Just, I don't know, the great cycle in the sky is turning up the warmth, I guess. The fact that the days are getting longer helps too. Really does. Okay, Chip Weekly, W3BEW. Good evening, Dave and all Augies. The Great Smoky Mountain representative present and accounted for. Ralph Leland. Hi, Dave and everyone. K4TA in Fork Union, Virginia, 51 degrees. Optical Man Jeff, KE0OG from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it's 42 degrees and sunny. Leo, I know that I could purchase 4 new spreaders from Chris, but I have a feeling that the expense would approach the cost of an entire new hex beam. I don't know. Ask him. If there was a problem with the spreaders and he thinks that, you know, part of it might be because of the way it's designed or something, he might be very accommodating. You know, it is said that does never hurt to ask. Yes, it does. Sometimes it really makes matters worse to ask. But I think this is one of those cases where you'll be just fine. Okay. His company is doing pretty good. Chuck Schreiber, good evening, Dave and all Augies and 5 KVO from the hill country of South Texas. Beautiful evening out on the patio, currently 73, and yes, I am intensely jealous. And there is Von Ziegel's addition to the chat revenue. Ah, now I can see it. Okay, Jeff is not an ARRL member. I'd look into it. Try for a year. See what you think. Glenn K, greetings. Von Ziegler 73s from N6CD. Don. Leo says, howdy, Tegan. And Jeff K says, greetings, Dave and all Augies. It's been cold and raining all week on a trip to Cape Cod, Massachusetts. From Glenn, KE0OG. Lefty says, good evening, Dave and Augies worldwide. Here in Davenport, it's 44 and clear. Troy, the consumer of large quantities of bacon. Would wrapping a PCV J-pole, either copper foil or aluminum foil, have an advantage over just a foil tape J-pole? I would recommend that you make your J-pole either from copper pipe or a piece of window line, something like that. You can put foil over something, but I mean, they just aren't that big to not use just wire or something for them. Interesting. Leo Gustafson, a mission to Japan. I hope you can find Akibahara. Amazing store that. Yes, I've been there. When I came home from my mission in the Philippines, I stayed 36 hours in Japan, and Akibahara was one of the places we hit for certain. I could not believe how much electronic equipment, and nowadays it would be maker stuff and everything there too. And Tegan's into robotics, so he's a maker. Jerry Simonowitz. 1, you are wonderful. 2, the paper copy costs more, used to come with membership. True. There is very little transparency regarding finances. Actually, it's not ARR. It's not QST you want to look at. The ARRL, being a nonprofit, has to file a report every year. with the IRS. And they use that same report to recruit new donors. And you can get to it on the ARRL website if you dig hard enough. And that tells you everything. At the top, who gets what salary, who does what to whom, what projects they're working on, how they're funding this, that, and the other, what their budget is, etc., etc., etc. It's all there. And that is a publicly available document, and you can take a look at that. Nonetheless, I'm a life member and have not resigned. Very good. Lefty, I spent 2 years in Japan teaching English. Some of the best years of my life. Very good. And Jerry Simonowitz has added $10 to the chat revenue, supporting your very worthy work. And thank you very much. Brad says, is the RTL SDR blog version 4 any better than previous versions? I will have to let other people answer you. The SDR that I have right here is the SDR Play RSP1A. And I also have the SDR Play Duo that will do two bands at once. And I haven't really experimented with that a lot because I don't have enough sources for it. The main source I get for it is I put a little mod, a completely reversible mod in the ICOM 7310, which provides a signal over here to the SDR. So not only do I see it on the scope over here, I see it on the computer screen too, so it's very nice. Bill Myers, KE0OG, has added $5 to the chat revenue. He says, welcome, Tegan. I'm sure that you will assist Dave above and beyond. I am too. Jerry Simonowitz says, from KB2GCG, also from Newark, Delaware. Look what George Washington had to say about his fighting blue hens. Okay, I'll do that. And K6TAT has got a finger up, the pointing finger. Bill Myers, KA8GIM. Dave, I have a question regarding your hex beam. Did you apply any protection or UV-resistant paint to the spreaders before putting it on your mask? No, I did not. I built the thing right out here. In fact, the pole I put into the ground, took a 4-foot pole, put it 2 feet into the ground. It's stuck there. It's not coming out. And then I could rotate the beam around as I worked on it at, about chest height. And there was no instructions for having to put some kind of UV coating on those things. I think people don't understand that when you get up here to 7,000 feet, you can sunburn in 15 minutes. And you've got to be careful with that UV. I mean, if there's anything the UV can get to, it will. I didn't think that those fiberglass things would have that problem. It never even occurred to me, actually. Now that I look back on it, I've got to UV-proof this thing. The hex beam's a really nice antenna, and I'd like to keep it for a while. Davis says, hi, Jerry. And Lefty says, the state of Nevada is wasted space. Not quite. I have a sister in the state of Nevada. Yes, in Las Vegas. I really do have a sister in Las Vegas. She's a grandmother now. She's got 4 kids, all of whom are married and have given her so many grandchildren, I don't know how she keeps track. But she is there. And she and her husband are retired now. Finally, Ellen was able to retire. He was a stockbroker for many, many years. His son is now my contact at Morgan Stanley. So anyway, that's what he did. The way he got to Las Vegas was when he and Joanne first married, they wanted to buy a house. You couldn't do that in Southern California, even back then. So they looked for a place where they could get value for the money. They went to Las Vegas. Now, one of the problems with um, becoming a stockbroker is that you will never again move because you're building your client base one by one by one by one by one. And the problem there is you can't leave. You leave your entire client base behind. So they've been in Las Vegas ever since. It's sort of like becoming a dentist. You know, you build up your clientele and you can't go somewhere else because you got to start over. So, anyway, they're getting up. Now, I've been through Nevada. If you want to see the part of Nevada that's wasted space, take US Highway 50 across Nevada. It takes you right across the middle. And we at the time were towing a trailer with a Silverado. And that does nasty things to the fuel economy. So we had to stop every 100 miles and get gas. Well, the towns are 100 miles apart. And there is nothing, and I repeat, nothing in between. So we made it finally to Reno, which is where we were going. We were going up to the Reno Ham Fest, which was a great ham fest. I got to meet lots of really cool people. Got to meet the people from Chameleon. And in fact, I just talked to Don Sherman from that organization today. I had a question for him about one of their antennas. So the nice thing is that there are little oases there. And one town I've been particularly impressed by, I don't know why, Elko, Nevada. One, they've got an airport, so they must be good people. Second, it was just a nice town. It was nicely laid out and well kept. The town is thriving. I was impressed. We've stayed a couple times in Elko. So, like you said, not much else. I went through Battle Mountain once looking for a gas station. Finally ended up going on to the next town. I mean, it was just, you think a town called Battle Mountain, there might be a town there. No. Wide spot in the road. 2 exits. One to get off the interstate, another to get back on the interstate. Leo Gustafson has added $10 to the chat revenue and says, "Thank you, Dave, for your help and insights in your live stream." And there are 2 likes on that. Thank you very much, Leo. I appreciate that. I really do try hard, actually. Okay, here we go. Davis K3DHJ. Blue hens are the fighting cocks carried by Delaware Revolutionary War Regiment. Not really hens, which are female. Cocks are male. And the hens don't seem to feel the need to fight each other, although they will peck other hens. I mean, the person that's lowest on the pecking order ends up looking pretty ragged. Okay, but that's what they're called, the University of Delaware mascot. Well, thank you for enlightening me on that. I learned something. Leo Gustafson, go Greyhound and leaving the driving to us. Also the falling in the water to us. Randall Rash, KR5EE. Howdy from Texas. I love that E. Dit. Beautiful 66-degree evening. Hello, Sund. Hello, Dave and all faithful. Oh, that's Eric Sund. Hello, Dave and all faithful Augies. Sean, KM6NFO, has added $20 to the chat stream. How can you ground a magnetic mount antenna for mobile operations? Is it necessary? Best wishes from Sacramento, California. Normally the mag mount base, which is attached to the coax shield, is capacitively coupled to the metal roof of the car. So that capacitive coupling works at RF. Now, as far as a DC ground, that's down at the mobile radio inside the car. Okay, and you're going to ground it to the ground post of the battery. You should feed your mobile rig directly from the battery if you can. That's why the mobile rigs have 2 fuses, because there is a rather obscure failure mode that will pass a lot of current through the ground lead. So there's a fuse in it so you don't end up burning it up. Okay, so that's how you do it. Davis K3DHJ has added $20 to the chat revenue, and I appreciate that very much. We've got the guy that we're paying right here. Okay, and I've got great plans for him. We've got to train him up, start paying him more. And Paul C., Victor Kilo 4, Delta Papa Charlie, from Down Under. Greetings from a sunny Brisbane. Happy Easter to everyone. Thank you. That is this week, isn't it? You know, I was we were watching the local weather channel. Local for us is Denver. And they show their forecast. And they had for Good Friday a picture of a cross, kind of an oblique picture. And then for Easter, they got a bunny. The cognitive dissonance was pretty strong there. Anyway, okay. Greetings from a sunny Brisbane. Jeff, a true down Easterner, loves a weather challenge. East First is the site of the first Atlantic broadcast from Signal Hill in Newfoundland, Canada. Yes. Andrew, how is your new Cushcraft vertical? Well, we're going to try it tonight. When we get on the air in about a half an hour, I've got 2 things we're doing. First of all, I got this battery in the mail. This is from Golden Mate. It's 20 amp hour battery. Okay, so it should run the radio on transmit key down for an hour. So I'm going to use this as the power source for the icon right here, and then we'll do a video about this. I mean, what can you do with a 2-terminal device? But we'll make sure that it really does. I've charged it all up. And the other thing we're going to do is some switching between the Cushcraft vertical. Cushcraft is owned by MFJ. And, you know, they've kind of got their production tangled up, so it's hard to tell when something is pure Cushcraft, which Cushcraft was an antenna company that was rescued by MFJ from disappearing. And so is High Gain. Now, the time I got my High Gain 14 AVQ when I just got out of college at age 25, 26, something like that, I took it with me into the Air Force. It was, you know, another antenna company. Now, MFJ's purchased them both, and MFJ has not tried to consolidate the lines or anything. It lets them run kind of sort of as separate companies, but I don't know. It works for them. They still have the Vectronics brand. A few other things they've got out there. Okay, let's see. That bridge in Baltimore fell like a house of cards, which is exactly what it was. I mean, those trusses are designed to stay absolutely square. And if you bend it like this, it's going to come down. I mean, that's physics. Now, what are they going to put in to replace it? Well, I mean, they used those trusses as to hold up the suspension lines. So who knows what they're going to do? Building a magnificent trophy-type suspension bridge would be incredibly expensive. And they've got a lot of need to get that route open again. I'm wondering why they might think of tunneling under the river. They did that in Boston. That would make things a lot easier. I know there's a bridge down in San Pedro in Los Angeles that I've been over a time or two. And you feel like you're climbing to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. And this old boy gets a little bit spooked up there. And then you go over the thing, in the middle of it's actually a drawbridge. And you get over to the other side and go, Oh, lordy, lordy, I don't want to be on this when it comes down. I mean, even any bridge 10 feet above the water, you still got the same problem. Humans are awfully fragile. Eric Sund, all is well in Hudson, Wisconsin, from N0EZX. Thanks for this weekly session, Dave. You're certainly welcome. Now, by the way, I was on 40 meters earlier today tuning around, and we're in the middle of a geomagnetic storm right now. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get much on there, but we'll give it a try. We'll be on 40 meters, somewhere like around 7210 or something. Okay. Hospitals and nursing homes should be led by medical professionals, not MBAs. I think you need one of each, because medical doctors, it's almost a joke in the industry. They're terrible money managers. So you need an MBA there to help out, but the MBA should not be making decisions that affect care. And that includes things like trying to kick patients out early and all of that sort of thing like that. They had a problem down in Los Angeles with a hospital down there that was getting a lot of government money, and they would take people that, for whatever reason, had timed them out and literally dump them on the streets in their hospital gowns. And there was a charity there that would take these people in and try and process them and get them set up back at home, get them help and stuff like that. I mean, it was just a scandal, the way they were doing that. So anyway, okay, RBH on a 2-meter SSB net, we have noticed a given station swapping between different verticals had a distinctive change in audio, as if they changed a transmitter equalizer. Multipath is our hypothesis. That's a pretty good hypothesis, I think, because switching between antennas should not change the audio quality at all. So that's interesting. Multipath could be. And you'd have to have people kind of around it who circle the area and see what they think. Ted Bowman, greetings, Dave. What is your favorite coax cable? From Ted. KK7KHK. My favorite cable, the one I go to, is RG8X. RG8X isn't too terribly expensive. It's easy to work with. You can put connectors on it fairly easily. The thing is, though, when I use the amplifier, it's rated to handle the power. But I've got what originally was a 500-foot roll of LMR 400 out there. And I've gradually converted all the various antennas strewn all over everywhere to LMR 400. Now, the coax that's going out to the step IR, big IR vertical, which is what I'm going to use primarily, is a Messi Paolini cable. And Brad Rich actually brought that up here when he helped me put that antenna together. That antenna takes some doing to put together, and Brad knew how to do it. I could not have done it without him. And he brought that cable up and wanted me to try it. Works great. Now, the antenna that we're going to test tonight, the Cushcraft, is RG213 for flexibility. It's my standard test cable that I hook to all antennas that I'm testing. So we'll see how it works here. Okay. But RG8X, not RG8U, but RG8X. RG8X takes a slightly bigger adapter for coaxial cables than RG58. 58 is the old Radio Shack cable we all love to hate because it did not have 100% shield coverage. It was dirt cheap, and the quality reflected that. So I actually have some RG58 here. Used it for video recently. Okay, now we've got Glenn Martin. Hello from the far west Missouri area. 58 degrees and 27% relative humidity from N0QFT. And Jerry Simonowitz, who is doing now his 5th super chat on a live stream. Google tells me that here. YouTube tells me that. KB0OG from Newark, Delaware. Go Blue Hens. Check out what President Washington thought of them. I imagine he thought they were tasty. Probably tasted like chicken. So I'll look that up. That's something I've never heard of, so we'll see how that goes. James McDonough says, all right, Dave, listening from England. Jerry Simonowitz, I've been to Akibahara in the 1980s. Amazing. Yeah, I was there in 1973. Monsoon Groover, greetings from fabulous Las Vegas. Believe it or not, I have a sister in Las Vegas. And so I have been there many times. And it's changed enormously from the first time I went to Las Vegas. I remember when my son was very young, I went with some relatives. We stayed at the Sands for $20 a night. Well, you can't do that now. It used to be that they'd give you cheap rooms and cheap food because they wanted you on the gambling floor. So I just wanted the cheap food and the cheap room, which was fine, although some of my relatives decided to aid their bottom line a bit. I got to tell you a funny story. When John, my son, was about 10, we were down in Las Vegas at Joanne's house and having kind of a family reunion. And anyway, my mother wanted to see a casino. So my sister drove us down to what was then the MGM Grand. And we went in through the casino, and we were all looking around at people going ding, 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 this stuff like that. They try and make it. It's interesting, the music that they play is a constant string of ascending major chords. And it sounds like the music continues to go up and up and up. But of course, you're pulling in from the bottom. And they didn't put any, a real ascending chord. Should have had some minor chords in it. Not this stuff. Nothing minor for Las Vegas. Anyway, we were walking through here, and my mother decided she wanted to try one of the slot machines. So she bought a roll of nickels. And she sat down in front of this nickel slot machine and started to feed it. My son was beside himself. Just, Dad, this shouldn't be happening. And he turned to me with this look of horror on his face. And he says, Dad, it's so sad when it happens to someone you know. I think it took me 20 minutes to stop laughing. Because she got all through her nickels and we left. But, because he'd been taught in church that gambling is a sin. And he was horrified that his grandmother would do that. But anyway, John would come up with the best lines. I remember the first time he drove, I was sitting next to him. He got to drive home from church, which was about a mile. And he made the left turn from South Boulder Road onto whatever that street is there, Centennial. And he didn't turn enough. And I had to go over there and push the wheel over some more. And he looked at me and he said, Dad, I guess there is some finesse to this after all. Oh, he could come up with good ones. Okay, well, thank you. Let's see, where are we? Greetings from fabulous Las Vegas. Yes. Steve Brannon, Jerry Simonowitz. Howdy from Elkton, from KC3NCY. Brad says thanks. Phil says hello to Dave and all Augies from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Always loved that name. Tomatoes have sprouted and spring is on the way. Well, beware. Mother Nature has a habit of throwing curveballs. Up north of here in Grand Junction, there's a town just to the east called Palisade. And they have a microclimate there that's very good for growing peaches and grapes. And the whole area is full of wineries. And those peaches are, bar none, the best peaches I think I've ever tasted or very close to it. Because when you buy them here on the street, you buy them from the local vendors. They come down from there. And that fruit is best approximately 1 second before it starts to rot. And that stuff will just fall apart in your hands. But oh my goodness. If you can get some home without it crushing, you slice it into little pieces, take the skin off, pour a little heavy cream over it. And I'll tell you what, you've got the best dessert in the world. That stuff's so good. We also have a place in Olathe, this is Olathe, Colorado, not Kansas. They grow sweet corn, Olathe sweet corn. And that is a real treat every year too. Nice to live in an agricultural area. Okay. Jerry says, Jody, I have friends in Elkins. Very good. Very good. Jerry Nelson, greetings from Fruitland, Utah. I really enjoy my nearly 7,000 feet of elevation with high antennas. Please keep up the good info. Well, I can wave straight at you then. You're at 7,000 feet also. Warren Baker, greetings, Dave and all Augies from Chattanooga, WA4BAK, 54 and clear skies. Nerdy Sean, yay ham, I think that's supposed to be Ham Fest. Michael Aquarium says hello. Stephen Waters, the loneliest highway in America, Highway 50. Oh, and it is. I mean, we were out there wondering if we had gas to get to the next town. I'll tell you what I did there, something really stupid. We got our gas, we got everything done, we went in, did our business, we picked up all kinds of snacks, hopped in the car and drove off. And somebody came up beside us and started pointing at the side of the truck. And I looked out there, the gas nozzle was still in my truck. Well, apparently this is not that rare, because all of the hoses, if you look at them, the hose comes out of the gas pump. There's a little metal fitting, and then the rest of the thing, and it breaks apart right there and seals the pump. And so we drove back, and I said, I'm really sorry. Here's your thing. And they said, oh, thanks for at least bringing it back. Yeah, we'll hook it right back up. Go ahead, no problem. So that was so crazy. Okay, let's see, where are we? Greetings, Dave and all Augies from Chattanooga, WA4BAK, 54 degrees and clear skies. Oh yeah, we did that loneliness. Brad says, thank you for your time and effort. There's a little bit of politics in here. I would ask that we don't do that because after all, we have some people from Delaware and that's a blue state. So, and actually, oddly enough, Colorado is. You never know it when you get out of Denver because rural Colorado is very, very red. But Denver, where all the people are, each person with one vote, is definitely a blue city. So it makes us a blue state. We have a blue governor, blue senators. We have blue... We don't have blue representatives. We've got one because the 3rd district elected a Republican, and she's now moved over to the 4th district. Carpetbagger. And anyway, it looks like she's getting pasted. It is not working. Michael Aquarium, I'm working tomorrow, Good Friday. I work in a holiday park cleaning inside caravans. Okay, well, caravan is a travel trailer here. So are you in the UK? I mean, that's what they call them over there. Um, we just bought another RV. We sold ours that we had and decided that we had sold it prematurely. So we got another one. An interesting RV. I think it was designed for rental because it's extremely simple. There are no slides, no levelers. There's no storage underneath except the one pass through at the very back. Okay. And I mean, it doesn't even have key fobs. It's that simple. So everything is made simple. I love that because there's less to break. And I think that's why they did that. Also, these RVs that were used for rental were extremely thoroughly cleaned after every use. And so this thing is immaculate. Immaculate. And no dust, nothing. No evidence of mouse droppings. I mean, nothing. And it's just a very nice RV. We took it on a shakedown cruise 10 miles up the road. There's an RV park called Centennial RV. It's a pretty nice park. And we went in there for 2 nights just to do a shakedown cruise. We kept a list of all the things. It ended up being a long list of things that we need to get or do for the RV. And then as soon as I got home, I had to re-winterize it. I blew it out, blew all the lines out, and then poured a little of that antifreeze down in the drains, all the drains, so it should be pretty well winterized. Okay. Hi, Dave from Alaska, 35 above, KL7HRO. King Wacky, old school buildings on the cheap. Wing Wacky, tunneling will take 10 to 20 years. It depends on the geology. There are big tunneling machines where if the geology is nice, they can get through pretty quickly. But then you've got all the finish work to do, and you're right about that. Now, the tunneling in the Boston Harbor preceded the, quote, big dig, which I think is still going on. But the big dig seems to me to be one of the best welfare for engineers projects there ever was. They tried too much. Let's see, there is a tunnel and another bridge in Baltimore. Well, yeah, you're going to have more than one. Maybe some enterprising soul will bring a ferry in and do something, but you can't do with ferries what they did with that bridge. You cannot move enough traffic with a ferry to take up for that. Leo says, being one of the last CDL drivers in our company, I have to work Good Friday, Easter, and Holy Monday, so don't take it hard. Yeah, that's interesting. There was a big thing that happened a couple years ago here in Colorado. A truck came down on the freeway and couldn't stop. Went right by a runaway truck ramp and hit some people and killed some people. And then there was this other guy who was on I-25 going north at 70, which is the speed limit, by the way. Okay. And he couldn't stop when traffic stopped, and he ended up killing 2 families. And he claimed that the trucking company should have given him a vehicle that works, which is true. The trucking company did not have insurance. In fact, an hour after the accident, they were trying to acquire insurance. And so the question was the driver guilty of manslaughter? And there was a lot of question about that. This driver had no CDL. I mean, he was horrified by what had happened. He tried using the brakes, they weren't there, and it was a mess. Well, he was found guilty yesterday of involuntary manslaughter for like 8 people. and he will be away for a very, very long period of time. The thing to remember that comes out of this, whoever is in charge in the vehicle is responsible for everything, period. That is true whether you are a pilot in an airplane, a ship's captain, or a truck driver or an auto driver. The person in charge is responsible by definition. And of course we want to, say, well, it's the owner of the trucks were bad. Well, why did you take the thing out? If you knew the brakes were bad, why did you drive it? Well, I'll lose my job. Well, then lose your job rather than kill people. Okay? Be a whistleblower on the truck company. But if an airplane has a bad landing due to real high winds, do they blame the weatherman or do they blame the pilot? They blame the pilot. If a ship runs aground, do they blame the navigator or do they blame the captain? They blame the captain. It's just the way it is. You got to understand when you are in charge, anything that happens on your watch is your bad. The same thing with Boeing. They've got this guy up there who might be a really smart businessman, but Boeing moved its headquarters to Chicago. They make things in Wichita and Washington State. Renton, is that it? I've been there. When I worked at Northrop, when I got out of the Air Force, we were building an inertial measurement unit for the MX missile. This was before GPS. Believe it or not, there was a time before GPS. And this was an inertial measurement unit. It was the most accurate navigation instrument known to mankind. And fortunately, our leadership, the people in charge of the company, were engineers. And it was clearly a company run by people who were engineers. You could tell them any problem you had. They'd understand, and two, they might have a good idea how to fix it. Whereas if you go to Boeing and they said, we've got a problem with our 737 MAX, we're getting too many faulty parts. And their response is, well, we've got to keep production rate up. Not, let's nail this and find out why the parts are bad. It used to be that when you went in a Boeing aircraft, you were trusting your life to them, and you felt safe doing so. The old B-17 bombers designed by and made by Boeing and several other licensing manufacturers, those things could practically have their entire skin ripped off, and they would still come back and be able to land. They were known for that. So, what has happened? My opinion, ham radio should be run by hams. Airplane companies should be run by engineers. Okay. All right, where are we here? Okay, so the CDL thing reminded me of that thing with the guy there. Okay, King Wacky, the band's been awful for me just listening today. If they still are, we'll just skip it this week. Doug Dry, good evening, Dave and all loggies from Doug. Hello, Doug. Doug is the one who has provided me with this. Yeah, that's a lot closer I can get. There we go. This is an old dial telephone. And I mentioned on this broadcast once that I would like to get one. He sent me one. Well, my next question was, can it work? And the answer is absolutely yes, it can work. And for those of you who haven't heard this in a long time, let me put this up to here so you can hear it. That's the dial tone. How long has it been since you've heard a dial tone? Well, it does work. It's actually an internet phone, but it does work, and I do use it. And I thank Doug very much for that. Okay, and he is KD4NC in Kennesaw, Georgia. RJ, I just got an V4E and the radial kit. I planned on roof mounting it. Your video said it needed two 33-foot radials. Can you comment more on the rooftop mounting? From best wishes from KX9RJ. Classically, a standard vertical antenna, which this is, will have multiple radials if it's on the ground. Now you can put it up on your roof and run those radials around. You know, put a brick or something up there to hold them in place. I wouldn't put nails in the roof if you can avoid it. Nails have a habit of disappearing after 20 years, leaving a hole behind. You can do that, see how well it works. But classically, an antenna more than about 10 feet high, you want two tuned radials for every band. And so you're going to want two 33-foot radials to make up 66 feet. So two 33-foot radials opposite each other. And then you go up to 20, you're going to cut that in half. Two 16.5-foot radials opposite each other, held out. Okay, not just laying on the ground, but held out. Now you can skip 15 and then just go to 10. The reason you can skip 15 is because 15 meters is close enough to resonance on those 40-meter radials that they'll work. So, yes, you can do that. Try it either way. I think you will find that you might get a little bit better luck doing the elevated radials. Okay. And tell me how your project comes. Daryl Troutman, KN4ZIR, hello from Kentucky. Leo says, I was given a spool of RG8U by my Elmer when I was first getting started. When I first got into ham radio, that was the standard coax. You had RG8U and you had RG58. I always thought RG8U was for the people with the big amplifiers. And you could still use it. It's just dated. You know, like opening an old can of peaches or something. David Casler asks Dave Rocks, hello from LA, Los Angeles. I tried using LA when I was in Mississippi in the Air Force. And they said, oh, you're from Lower Alabama. No, actually that's Los Angeles. Where's that? It was amazing. Lefty, grateful for our CDLs. No food nor merchandise without them, and that is absolutely the truth. Dave, have you ever heard of a lightning arrestor from Teletronics International? I have not. Jeff, send me a link to Ask Dave, all one word, at arrl.org. And I'll get that and I'll take a look at that. Jerry Simonowitz, after 24 years as a general, I passed my amateur extra exam 10 days ago. KB2GCG. Jerry, congratulations. Now, I've told people who are really good test takers, when you go in for your amateur license, go ahead and get the tech and the general at the same time. And then get on the air on HF. And then get to know HF. Get to know where the DX stations are, where the contests are, how to work this, how to work that, how to work POTA, how to work SOTA, all of that kind of stuff. And then get your extra. And it will mean a great deal more to you when you do. And I'm kind of curious if you had any experience with that. Peaches are great with ice cream. Yes, they are. Big cities. Congratulations. Coming in now. UK, yes, static caravans. Okay, static caravans. Okay, I think over here we might call those tiny homes. I don't know. But a travel trailer is a tiny home. And, you know, I don't talk about this a lot in the U.S., but you go into the trailer parks and you've got all these old travel trailers They've got skirting around the bottom, trash all around them, and people live there permanently. And it's the cheapest way to live in the United States. And you can move up to a single wide or something like that. But these poor people, when a town gets gentrified, they push all these people out and they have nowhere to go. And it's just sad to me. I mean, you know, if all you can afford is a 25-year-old single wide where the roof leaks in 3 places, that's what you can afford. There are a lot of people in the United States, a lot, whose only income is Social Security. And believe me, Social Security is not real big. $1,500 a month is about what people get. They're way below the poverty line. So, you know, they can hardly afford their Medicare premiums. My wife and I together pay $1,000 a month for our Class F Medicare. That covers everything except drugs. So Loretta was just in the hospital for COVID, so they covered everything there. But we pay a Medicare supplement, we pay our Class B copay, and we pay for drug insurance. And I take my list of drugs, I'm almost to the point where I'm going to need 2 pages, single-space typed. I think the pharmacy companies have a special little session every week or so where they say, let's spend a moment of silence for Dave Casler because he's keeping us afloat. So some of my medications are a little on the pricey side. But it's kind of interesting. I mean, you know, I was an engineer, so I get a little bit more in Social Security. My wife gets hers, and I've got a bit of a pension from Lockheed. Not much, but a bit. It helps, you know. And then the rest of it is from YouTube and the ARRL. And it's a nice life, really. I mean, we're in good shape. When I need to get things for ham radio, I can get them, review them, show you. Now, the new Cushcraft antenna was a freebie from MFJ. But that antenna that was Wolf River coils that I was so enamored with, I really liked that antenna. It's the TIA, Take It Along antenna. And I paid for that with channel funds, fully. Okay, a very nice one. If I can't get something I want, I may have to break down and pay for it. Let's see. Static interference. Okay, we're going to make the transition over to the radio. Now, if this doesn't work, and you guys will see it, if this doesn't work, then we'll just come back and finish up here, okay? So I'm going to turn this so that you can see the radio. Okay, here is the radio. We're using this battery. Okay, this is a 20 amp hour lithium ion battery. Notice that 13.8 volt, 20 amp hours? That is just flat wrong. It's more like 13.8 volts. These things have a higher cell voltage, but the radio wants 13.8 volts, so that's not a problem. This thing makes you think that this is going to act like a lead acid battery. It does not. It's got a whole different set of characteristic curves, a whole different charging protocol, everything. Okay? It's actually simpler charging protocol. Because you see this little black thing up on the top? That's actually a whole bunch of electronics. That's the battery management system. Okay, and it takes care of finishing the charge. Now what I did earlier today was I put this right here, which is Anderson power pole connectors on it. Everything in my shack has them. So I just plugged that into the ASU. I'm sorry, the ICOM. So we'll turn that on now. And And today is, and I'm going to get this on the log, because the first couple times I did this, I didn't have it on the log. It's the 29th of March UTC. And it is 0154. Okay, now there's more activity here. Let me find what looks like it might be a good place. Yeah, we've got a shortwave station there. Okay, we're on 7192. 7192 kilohertz. All right, let's give it a try and see what happens. I want a different pen. This one, very nicely. Okay. Is this frequency in use? Is this frequency in use? This is Dave Casler, KE0OG, starting a net for Augies who are participating in an unmonetized live stream. We're transmitting 100 watts out of a 20 amp hour lithium ion battery, and we're using the new Cushcraft HV4E antenna. And so is there anybody who can hear this who'd like to come into the net? Go now. QRZ from Kilo Echo Zero, Oscar Golf. Not hearing much.
Kilo 6, Kilo Yankee.
Kilo 6, Kilo Yankee. Let me go back to the other antenna. Okay, this is the test antenna. Name here is Dave, Delta Alpha Victor Echo, located in southwestern Colorado. And you've got a nice 5.9 signal tonight. So back to you, K6KKY, KE0OG. Okay, well, thanks very much. I'm going to try something now. I'm on the Step IR, Big IR antenna, and now I am on the brand new Cushcraft HV4E, I think it is, that's out there. Do you see any difference in the antennas? Now I'm back to the Step IR. Do you see any difference?
Yeah, when you switched over there initially, it came up to about a 5.9, and then it went back down to a 5.8. So it's just a little bit better on that newer antenna that you switched over to. But the audio is about the same on both of them.
Okay, very good. Well, tell me your name and location and a little about your station.
Name here is James Jr. Alpha Mike Echo Sierra. I am the station owner. Just got a homebrew inverted V up in the tree about 20 feet. I sort of turned the rope. And then I'm using a Yaesu ST 321 that I bought for I want to so I got this and basically just running that off of battery power off of lithium iron phosphate battery sitting here in the office. So it's not the very first check in the world, but I'll tell you what, it gets the job done.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you. So I'm going to say 7-3, turn it over to you for a final, and then we'll see if there's anybody else. K6KKY, KE0OG, send it over to you for a final.
All right, thanks a bunch, Daisy. Great to talk to you again, and thanks a bunch for all you do on the YouTube channel over there. It's, every time I need to know something, I go type it in and throw Dave Casler at the end and see if I can find a video of yours. So certainly do appreciate that. And I know you're trying to get that airplane sold, so I hope you get that sold here in the near future. Sure, and I'll say 73 to you, and I'll be sitting on the frequency listening in. So thanks again, Dave. Have a great one. 26 KKY clear.
73. This is Kilo Echo Zero Oscar Golf, QRZ.
Kilo Charlie 0 Delta Whiskey. November 6 Papa Sierra November.
The Kilo Charlie Zero Delta Whiskey station, come again.
Kilo Charlie 0 Delta Whiskey Zulu. Dave, I have you on a 5-1 in Minnesota. 5-1.
5-1. Well, that's interesting. Let me try changing the antenna. I'm on the old vertical. This is the new Cushcraft vertical. What do you think? Go ahead.
It sounded about the same. You were 5-1 to 5-2. I couldn't tell if it changed when you changed antennas, but they're very, very close right now.
Okay, well that's interesting. The MFJ antenna is substantially smaller than the other one, which is a full, and I mean full size vertical. This one's actually less than 20 feet tall, so it makes for a good antenna if you can hide it in your backyard from the HOA. If you've got a little tree or something, you can hide this thing completely. Nice little antenna. So KC0 Delta Whiskey Zulu, I think I got it. Tell me again your name, location, and a little about your station.
Roger, Dave. And just to let you know, you're somewhere between a 5-1 to 5-2, but on voice speaks you were as high as 5-4 in that antenna. The name here is Don Delta Oscar November. I am located in Minnesota, 15 miles north of St. Paul. The station's a 7300 running barefoot with a high-O microphone and a 40-meter double bazooka dipole at about 35 feet inverted V. Back to you.
Oh, very good. And your signal strength has come up quite a bit, Don. You've got a wonderful station there, and it looks like you're making very good use of it. And I appreciate that. So I'm going to turn it back to you for a final, and I'm going to say 73s. And back to you for a final.
All right, Dave. Thank you very much. We spoke a couple weeks ago, but I'm glad I got a chance to help you evaluate the antenna this week. So have a good evening. I'm enjoying the stream, and hopefully we'll catch you next week or thereafter. I'm in the clear with Kilo Echo 0 Oscar Golf. This is Kilo Charlie 0 Delta Whiskey Zulu. 7-3, Dave.
73s. QRZ, this is Kilo Echo 0 Oscar Golf.
November 6 Papa Sierra November.
November 6, Papa Sierra November. Let's see, it's 0202. Okay, get the time right for the QSL cards. You are coming in here real strong, nice, at least 5x5. I'll get you a better look when I come back again the next time. So I'm Dave, of course, in Colorado, and so back to you, N6PSN. Tell us your name and location and a little about your station.
All right, Dave. Yeah, good signal. You're 5'8" into here, into Rio, into California, which is just north of Sacramento State Capitol. So name here is Chuck, Charlie Hotel Uniform, Charlie Kilo. And we're running the Yaesu 101 MP, driving the Alpha 9500 to about, we're just running about 1,000 watts, and to a 3-element M-squared monobander at 75 feet. Back to you.
Well, you've got quite the station there. Wow, you're putting out a wonderful signal. I was looking at the S meter. You're well over 5.9 here. I'm running just barefoot, and I've got to look at the antenna manual and see if I can run power through that thing. Right now I'm just barefoot. So thank you very much for coming back. I'm going to say 73 this go around. I'm going to turn it back to you for a final, and then we'll see if there's other people around. I think there are. So N6 PSN KE0OG, back to you.
Yeah, fine business. Yeah, you're holding up. You're booming in here. You're 5'8", 5'9", so doing a good job out of Colorado. So nice to contact you, and stay warm. N6 PSN.
N6 PSN KE0OG 73s. This is KE0OG QRZ.
November 7 Kilo Mike.
November 7 Kilo Mike, and let's see, it's 04. Trying to get these times right so I can get them on the QSL cards. I think I sent a batch of QSL cards out that were an hour off. If I did, I'm sorry. let me know if you need it for something. I can get you a new one. So, tell me your name, location, and a little bit about your station. Go ahead.
Yeah, very good. The name here is Ken, Kilo Echo November. QTH is Cedar City, Utah, just a little bit north and west of Zion National Park. And just demonstrating the station to my son who dropped in and haven't had this radio turned on for some time. It's an FT857D into a ZS6 BKW antenna at about 45 feet. Anyway, you're about 5'9" and plus. Sounding great, and appreciate you letting me jump in there. KE0OG and 7KM.
Very good. Very nice to meet you, Ken, this evening, and hello to your son. I'm in the room here with Keegan. He's going to become my next assistant, and after Aiden is going on his LDS mission to Japan, and so we'll lose him, and he'll get on with his life after that, and we'll keep bringing as many people through here as we can. So good deal that 857D is doing a great job, and you're over 5'9" here. Thank you very much for checking in. We do this as part of a live stream that I host for my channel. It's a non-monetized live stream because we're using real ham radio. And you can find my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Dave Casler, DAVECASLER, and see if you like it. If you like it, subscribe. I've got about 126,000 subscribers, and I also write the Ask Dave column for QST. So, very nice to meet you this evening. I'll turn it back to you for a final, and so 73 is back to you.
Yeah, very good. Well, I'm this N7KM. Well, that sounds great. And that'd be a good opportunity for Kagan there. And Aiden, congratulations on your mission call to Japan. And also you're going to be walking around and say, Anatano, I'll go, Anatano, I'll say you want to go to Desna for a while. But excited for you, and what a golden opportunity. So thank you for letting me on there. Pleasure, and appreciate the work you do on there, Dave. KE0OG and 7 Kilo Mike, Southwest Utah, be clear.
Okay, just one correction on my call. It's Kilo Echo 0. Kilo Echo 0. QSL?
I've got that change, and thank you so much. That's the first mistake I've made all day.
I wish I could be as good as you. I got out of bed this morning. That was my first mistake. So 73 to you, Ken. And down there in Cedar City, my sister and her husband have a retirement home tucked away in one of the tracks north of town there. Nice place. We've stayed there overnight a number of times. And I've been up, there's this little part of the back of the park there that you can go up into that's very spectacular. Very nice. So nice to meet you. I'll say 73s to you, Ken, and 7KM, KE0OG, QRZ. The Kilowatt Bravo 2 again.
This is Kilowatt Bravo 2 Golf Charlie Golf. This is Jerry from your line. Give you a 5-7 in Delaware. Over.
Oh, very good. Thank you for the 5-7 in Delaware. And I want to get the time down right. It's 0208. So I can get you a QSL card. Just had a bunch of QSL cards printed. So I've been totally out for a while. And you're Jerry, I think I got 5x7. Thank you for that. You've got a real nice signal in here, very clear. Back to you, KB2GCG. Tell us a little about your station. Bye.
Thanks much. It seems to be a lot of QRM. The station here is a Yaesu FCDX10, and I'm running into an Mercury 3N amplifier at 1,000 watts. To my 43-foot vertical with a remote tuner. Back to you.
A lot of people have those 43-foot verticals. They work really well. but they do need the remote tuner. So thank you very much for telling me about your station, the FTDX10. How do you like that? That's one step above their FT, whatever their entry radio is. And I've heard they're really nice radios. How do you like it?
Steve, I really like this radio. The receive is just out of this world. I use a FT710 for my photo work, and likewise, it's got great receive. So I'm really enjoying this radio. Got it almost as soon as it came out. And I would say great audio, and I'm using a Hiles Pro 7 headset, and that also produces generally good audio. Back to you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Well, I'm going to say 73 and see who else we've got. And so I'll turn it back to you for a final, and then I'll be looking for someone else. So, Jerry, very pleased to meet you, and thanks for checking into the live stream also. So, back to you for a final KB2GCG KE0OG.
Well, thank you very much, Dave. It's wonderful to interact with you in real life, not just text in a YouTube live stream. I'll say 73s. This is KB2GCG clear.
Thank you very much. And 73. This is Kilo Echo Zero Oscar Golf QRZ.
Norway 3, go Victoria. Victoria.
Okay, there was a Norway 3 with the Victoria. Could you come again? Okay, I got Norway 3 Tango Victoria. Was there a third letter in your call sign? Okay, two V's, two Victors. Got it. Thank you. And name here is Dave, located in southwestern Colorado, running 100 watts barefoot to that brand new MFJ, actually it's Cushcraft antenna, that's less than 20 feet high. It's a great antenna for people stuck in HOAs. If they can put up a pole that's about 18 feet tall, hide it in a tree, man, you're on the air. So this is a really good antenna. I'm also testing a battery out here that's not showing any signs of heating up or anything. Okay, very good. Come back and tell us your name, location, and a little about your station.
You also on YouTube as well. We just jump in here and say hello. And we are running 9100 here. And 80-meter dipole service over the wire line. Nothing fancy. And the thing points up at the right time. I don't know, maybe 40 feet or so.
Okay, very good, Eric. Very nice to meet you. So I'm going to say, let's see, 0211. I'm going to say 73. I'll turn it back to you for a final, and then I'll be looking for other callers. So N3T Victor Victor, here's Kilo Echo Zero Oscar Golf.
All right, Dave, thanks for working with here on 40 minutes.
Well, 73 is Eric. This is Kilo Echo Zero Oscar Golf, QRZ.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, India Delta Tango.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, India Delta Tango. You sound like you're practically in the next room. So tell me your name, location, and a little about your station.
Hi, good evening there. Good evening there, Dave. I was just scanning through 40 meters here and heard you and you as well. Sounds like you're right here in the next room here. The name here is Dustin. Dustin is my name, and I am located in the opposite corner of the state that you are. I'm up here in the northeast corner of Colorado, in between New Raymer and Stoneham, kind of out here in the middle of nowhere along the Pawnee grasslands there, over.
Oh, very good, Dustin. And you've got a nice signal in here. There is a lot of QSB, but it seems to come right back. I've been through that area a little bit. My wife was born in Stratton, Nebraska. So we go along I-76 till we get to 34, I think it is, Highway 34, and then take that straight over into Nebraska. And so I've seen some of that grasslands out there. It is big, wide, and a great big sky, and no mountains to get in the way. So I'm going to turn it back. I'm going to say 73 and turn it back to you for a final. And so KF0IDT 73, back to you.
Okay, very good there, Dave. Good to run into you here on 40 meters this evening. And yeah, you're right. You hit Highway 34, and it goes out to that goes out to the Yuma Ray area, and then you go into Binkelman, and once you hit Binkelman, you're almost there to Stratton. So, but yeah, we're just north of Fort Morgan, just west of Sterling, and about 80 miles east of Fort Collins, kind of tucked away, like I say, out here in the countryside. KE0OG from KF0IDT. 73's Happy Easter, and hope to catch you again maybe on another band there, Dave.
Okay, I'm going to say 73. Unfortunately, this is also the end of our live stream. So I'm going to go QRT and thank everybody. Sorry that I could not work everybody who was here tonight. I thought the band was going to be terrible, and it's actually great. So this is KE0OG saying 73 to all, and I will be QRT.
All right, very good there, Dave. Didn't realize you were live streaming. I'll have to go look for it there. Take care once again.
All right. Let's get this set back up here. That was very good. So we were on 7192. Yeah, the wandering musician is pointing out something from the DX Code of Conduct about people tuning up on the frequency. Heard you on the Northern Utah Web SDR site, and see you are on YouTube Live also. Yes. An extra comment to help boost. Thank you. Please subscribe. And so I'm going to say 73. It's been a wonderful evening with you guys. I just really enjoy this Thursday evening when we can chat and talk and answer some questions, and I can get answers to some questions and learn a little bit about blue hens. And I'm going to go look up blue hens. So you've been introduced to Keegan, and I'm going to say that that battery there did absolutely wonderfully. And I am surprised at how well that definite a compromise antenna from MFJ is. It does 40, 20, 15, and 10. Doesn't do any of the work bands. It's like super simple to construct, and a little bit of a to tune, but we got it tuned just fine. And the radio here took care of the rest. So the yeah, we were on 7192, I think, and there was somebody for a moment tuning up on that. So, very good. All right, so there it is. Until we next meet, 73. I've got to wait for that to show up over here. I always wag my finger. And when I wag my finger, I know that's the end of the live stream.